What's going on, everyone? It's Christina from the Glaser Tutoring Company, and today we're doing some work with polynomials. And in this video, we're going to learn how to expand the polynomial, right? Or in this case, it says expand the binomial. All right, well, bi in chemical, mathematical, science talk, bi just means that you have two terms. So bi just means the number 2. And in this case, I do have two terms. I have a 4x value, and I have just a number value, 5. So we have 4x plus 5, and this is all being raised to the second power. Okay, so we got to expand on this. All right, well, what does that actually mean? Expand means that we just have to write this in a bigger way, right? If you're going to expand something, you're going to make it bigger. Now, the question that I always ask is, how many 4x plus 5s do you have? Right? This 4x plus 5, the binomial, is in parentheses, and the exponent is telling you how many you have. So, how many of these 4x plus 5s do you have? How many you have? And in this case, we got 2 of them, right? Big number 2, it's being raised to the second power. So that's how many times you must write it. So I have 2 4x plus 5s. So maybe I'll put 1 parenthesis here and another parenthesis right next door, right? Because that's how many we got. And we have 4x plus 5. And then, you guessed it, 4x plus 5. Right? And I just write 2 of them, right? And I don't write that they're being added. I don't write that they're being subtracted. If these 2 binomials are right next to each other, what's the operation? Yeah, multiplication. So in essence, we just have these 2 binomials. We got 2 of them, 1, 2, and they're being multiplied by each other. So now we got to do the actual math. Let's multiply these binomials. And you could do FOIL method, you could do your box method. I don't think any of that is necessary. I think all we got to do is just be fair. So what I usually teach is I just focus on the first binomial, do all the heavy lifting from this, and once you get to the end, once you do everything with your 5 value in this case, you're done. We just got to simplify and clean it up. Okay, so start off with your first binomial here and start with the first term. So in this case, it's 4x. And we must multiply, right? But the thing is that you never multiply stuff that is in the same parentheses because it literally says that 4x is being added with the 5, 4x plus 5. So we must take our first term and go across the pond to the terms that are on the other parentheses. So across the pond, across the parenthesis. So we're going to take our 4x and we're going to multiply it with our 4x term. Okay, and then just know that when you take your 4x and you multiply it with your other 4x term, the 5 is like, what about me? That's when you got to be fair. You must take this term and multiply it by all the values in the second parenthesis. So since we have 2 terms here, I got to take that 4x and times it by the other 4x, and I got to times it by the 5. So let's do that. Let's do the actual math, and then we will come back. So work with your numbers first. 4 times 4 is 16. So I got a 16. And now work with your x values. I have 1x here, right? It's raised to the first, times by another x value, right? X to the first. So I have 1x to the first, I have another x to the first. How many x's do I have total? I have 1 here, I have another one here. That's 2. So that's how many x's you got. So this would be 16x squared. You add those values. 1 plus 1 is a total of 2. Okay, now we got to be fair. 4x times the 5. Always numbers first. 4 times 5 is, you got it, 20. So I'm going to say plus 20. And now this term has the x, but this 5 has no x, so the x just comes down along for the ride. So it'd be just 20x. And notice how I wrote this as a different color because when you're simplifying, you could only simplify x squared values with x squared values and x values with x values. So they go with different colors. Okay, now let's work on the second term. I'm going to take this 5 value, and I must be fair. I'm going to multiply across the pond, across the parenthesis. So I'm going to take that 5 and multiply it by 4x. But I got to be fair. I got to take that 5, and I also have to multiply it by the other 5. So let's go for it. 5 times 4 is another 20, so plus 20. This has no x value. That has the x. So the x just comes along for the ride. And notice how I put it in the same color blue because they're both just x values. And now 5 times 5 is 25. Now all we got to do is just clean it up. We're going to clean up the x values in the middle. And when you're adding or subtracting, we don't worry about adding the x values together. That's just going to stay the same. All we add are the numbers. So in this case, we have 20. Ooh, what happened to that 5? We got 20 plus 20. That's a total of 40. So we have 16x squared plus 40x. And we'll say that this came down with this to make 40x. And then plus 25. And now we have all 3 different colors. So we can't simplify anything else. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And that is the end. So we got 16x squared plus 40x plus 25. And we are done. What do you think? Hopefully this helped. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for coming to the channel, checking the channel out, and, learning from us. We love helping you guys out. My brother and I, we really do appreciate all you guys. I hope you're doing well out there. Good luck on those tests and quizzes. And as always, I hope you're having a great day. All right? Keep studying hard, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.